So, my friend, I want to ask you, have you been listening to some of my podcasts for a while and identified for yourself all the areas that you feel your business could be better in? Maybe you just are so busy you haven't yet mastered the working as much as you like bit. Or maybe you're just not bringing in the money, like you're struggling with the income, or it's just not enough. Well, it's time for us to have a conversation. In the show notes, there is a link to my evolution call. If you're a dance boss and you are ready to take action, let's have a chat and let's see where I can take you. Welcome, lovelies, to the Ultimate Dance Business Podcast. My name is Deborah Laws, the dance business expert. My passion is to help you turn your passion into profit while guiding you to work less and earn more. I'm super excited to share interviews with you that I know will inspire and motivate you in your schools, as well as my solo shows where I shall be sharing some great tips and strategies. So if you love the show, please do remember to review, subscribe, and share it with your fellow dance boss friends. So let's get stuck into the business of dance.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. My name is Heather Buelow, and I am a studio owner just like you. I have 2 studios in central Alberta, Canada, and even though we might not be in the same country, or maybe we are, I guarantee you we go through the same highs and the same lows as being a studio owner, and I am always kind of a tell it like it is, give you the good, give you the bad, and let you know that you are not alone, that in this crazy world that is being a studio owner, which there's not another job like this in the world, that there's people out there just like you going through the same things. So that's why I absolutely love getting to do these podcasts. And I'm excited to do this one. Our topic this week is how to increase multi-class enrollment and build your studio community. Sound good? Hey, I will take more students taking more classes, like hands up. I'm sure we are all there. So I'm going to go through kind of like why we want to do this, how you can do this, and how it can be easier than you think, and hopefully fill those classes with your ideal students. Sound good? Yes? Okay, let's get going. So this can truly change your studio culture, your retention rate, and ultimately your revenue. Getting students to enroll in multiple classes and creating a community where dancers feel like they belong and not just attend is everything. So one of the biggest mistakes that a studio makes is looking at enrollment as simply filling the classes. Instead, we should look at how we can create dancers who are invested in the studio, have friendships in the studio, and spend enough time that the studio becomes part of their identity, that the studio family is what they boast about. So let's dive into how we can do that. So why multi-classes matter. So yeah, let's like that. And what we're talking about is like students that are not just coming in and taking ballet. They're coming in and taking ballet and jazz and maybe hip hop. That's what we're talking about here. So why does that matter? A student who dances once a week is more likely to quit than a student who takes multiple classes and dances 2 to 3 times a week. Let me say that again. A student who dances once a week is more likely to quit. Interesting. Why? Because their connections are weaker. They feel like they have fewer friends. They have fewer teachers to connect with. They will miss more often. They don't feel as invested. They don't feel like it's their home or community and really want to go. They're just going because it's an extra sport. When a student only dances 30 or 45 minutes a week, dance turns into just another activity. When they're there multiple days or multiple classes, dance becomes a part of who they are. Like what I said, it becomes their identity. So the goal isn't simply to sell more classes. The goal is to create a stronger experience for that student. The goal is to create a home, your community. You're like, okay, wait a sec. I thought we were talking about like student retention. Yes, but it all for me breaks down into that community that you create in your studio helps in every aspect of retention. So once you create this community where they want to take more classes, extra enrollment is the result of that. That's the win from creating that. So let's dive into that. This is so exciting, doesn't this? Okay, so hopefully I have your attention and you're like, okay, I need a little more multi-class enrollment in my life, right? Let's get those classes filled. So first thing to do is to be strategic with your schedule. So we know making a dance schedule is like the world's greatest jigsaw puzzle, right? Hands up. Yes. I have two studios. My one studio here that I'm in this town has 2 rooms, and my one in the city 20 minutes away has 6 rooms. So I have to coordinate 8 rooms dancing at the same time with teachers. What time can the teachers come? What classes can the teachers take? What time do kids get out of school? What is the ideal class time to start? When do parents want to dance? What day is the best day? We know as a studio owner, making the schedule is not an easy task. And so to add to that and make it even more complex, I'm going to ask you the next time you make your schedule to think about a few more things that can bring more money into your pocket. It's not just about plopping classes into the open holes. It's about strategically making that schedule so that it works for your studio. So many studios accidentally make it difficult to take more classes. So, for example, they'll have a 9-year-old jazz on Monday, a 9-year-old hip hop on Wednesday, and a 9-year-old acro class on Thursday. Just kind of how they did, because the 9 o'clock class is from 6 to 6:45. So there's going to be one on Monday, one on Wednesday, one on Thursday. Makes sense, right? Except the parents immediately see 3 separate trips. 3 nights they're having to interrupt whatever they're doing to take their child to dance. Now, compare that 3 nights a week to Monday night, 5 o'clock jazz, 5:45 acro, 6:30 hip hop. Thursday night, 5 o'clock jazz, 5:45 ballet. Giving them 2 options of, hey, if Monday doesn't work for you, look, we have Thursday over here too. Oh, you're going to bring your daughter to the Monday 5 p.m. jazz class? Do you want them to stay right after for the 5:45 class? So convenient. Would you like a little bit more time to maybe go get groceries? Why don't you put them from 5 till 7 and they can take 3 classes? You can drop them off, go do what you need, and then pick them back up. Doesn't that sound easy? Isn't that an easy sell to a parent whose lives are busy, where your child can take 3 classes? So now a parent can drop their child off once and have them take more classes. The easier you make it, the more likely they'll do it. When I build my schedule, I try to cluster classes by age. So the 8 and 10-year-olds are going to be together. And naturally, it kind of goes as the night gets later because the older ones can stay up later. So the 8 to 10s, the 11 to 13s, and then the teens. This creates natural opportunities for multiple classes. Parents, they're not necessarily saying no to more classes. They're likely saying no to more driving. So if you can get them where they're back to back and a couple different options, where maybe Monday might not work for everyone. So you're going to have a Monday option and another option that is going to be the most ideal for everyone. The next thing you want to do is think like a parent. So maybe you are a parent. Maybe that's not a hard ask to do. I know that my studio, I kind of changed how I ran my studio after I became a mother. I only have one child. She's 16. And we're busy. Her schedule is busy. Luckily, she's a dancer and she can come to the studio with me. Couldn't imagine having 2, 3, 4 kids all in different sports. Oh my gosh, my hats go off to those moms. So imagine, play the game that you're sitting at a kitchen table, you are the mom, and it's time to register for sports. What are we going to put our kids in? Okay, we're going to put them in dance. What would make you say yes to multiple classes or a class? What would make you say no as a parent? Is there long gaps between the classes? Do you have to drive back and forth a couple times? Are they on different nights? Those are going to be the barriers that make up the mind of the parent. So if you can sit there in the parent's shoes and be like, what is going to make me happy? And put that in your schedule, you've won. Okay. So you want to remove all of those barriers, and registration will increase naturally. Every scheduling decision should answer one question. Does this make life easier for families? Yeah. Like I said, can I drop my child off Monday from 5 till 7? She gets 3 classes in. I don't have to be running him back and forth. It's one night. She gets to do 3 classes. Is that yes? Sign me up. Where do I sign? Where do I pay? Take my money. That's what they're looking for, especially parents nowadays. Parents nowadays want easy. They want easy. Where do I sign? Where do I pay? I have to fill out a form? Yes, you have to fill out a form. They want easy. So let's make it easy for them. Let's make that schedule the most ideal schedule, and make it easy to read. So my schedule the one town has 6 studios in it each night. That's overwhelming as a parent to look at it. How can I make that schedule look easy for them? I color code it. How old's your child? Oh, they're 7. Look at any class that's purple. That's any class you can take that's purple. Anything you see that's purple, your child can take that class. Oh, look, there's 2 purples back to back on Monday, 3 purples back to back on Wednesday. Do you want to try Wednesday? And then you can get 3 classes. Changing your schedule to be easier for the parent is going to help a lot. Okay. Use multiple rooms strategically. Okay. So this is what I have to do. If you have a 1-room studio, this is going to be a little bit different. You can probably fast forward this part, or listen, you might be expanding one day. If you have 2 or more rooms, are you scheduling it to the most potential? And here's how. It's an advantage. It is an advantage to have more than 1 room. And I'm going to say one word: siblings. Okay. In Canada, well, I mean, probably anywhere, but on average in Canada, there's 2 years apart for kids. That's not everyone, but that's about, they'll have a baby, and then when the kid turns 2, yeah, it's time to have a baby again. So you're thinking that the parent has a 6-year-old and they have a 4-year-old, or they have a 3-year-old. Okay, they have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. That's usually the age gap. So I'm going to make sure that I put a 4 to 6-year-old class at the same time as a 2 to 3-year-old class, because that mom can now come Mondays 5 to 5:45, and both of her kids can do an activity on their own in the same building. How easy is that? If you have 2, 3 kids, you want easy. So whenever possible, schedule siblings at the same time. Now, I know it's impossible. Like, maybe my one sister's 10, the other sister's 5. You can't guess every sibling age gap, but it's probably 2 to 3 years between the two. So if you have a 7 to 9, maybe you can have a 10 to 13 at the same time and hit those two siblings as well. So that mom and dad can have one trip. Parents love convenience. When parents have convenience and love that convenience, they stay longer. They're going to look to you first before going to soccer because they can check off two kids at the same time and you just made it so easy for them. So sometimes we get focused on what works for us in the scheduling and our teachers, and we forget about what works for families. So when you're sitting down, whether you do it on paper, whether you use little sticky notes, whether you use an Excel spreadsheet, however you make your schedule, not only now am I asking you to think about the teachers, the studio, think about the families, because really that is the bottom line. That is the people that are deciding the classes. And if that schedule is made with the families in mind, they're going to take more classes, which is more revenue. Okay. Families stay where life is easiest. So now we're going to build pathways instead of single classes. Another strategy is creating clear pathways. So instead of selling individual classes, sell a dance journey. That sounds way better. So for example, I would say if your child loves jazz, I really think they're going to love lyrical. Or your child excels at jazz and ballet. Did you know that lyrical is a mixture of jazz and ballet together? They're going to do so well in that class. As a parent, to hear that someone thinks my child has potential and is going to excel in something, I'm going to put them in that because I want my child to hear that my child is great at something. That's really what parents want to hear all the time. So you're telling them, look, your child's in jazz, your child's in ballet. You should put them in lyrical because it just flows together. If they enjoy acro, aerial is the next step. So they're so good at acro. You know what? We use a lot of acro steps in our aerial. And the flexibility that they're getting from their acro class can easily transition into aerial. Maybe they've been doing acro a few years. No worries. They can go into that aerial class and use their acro skills. So changing the mindset on how you're explaining classes and how you're wanting them to add on and not saying, oh, they take hip hop. Do they want to take tap too? No, that's fine. That's not a sell.
I am just going to pause here for a second because I just want to check that you know all about my new software, Dance Business Solutions. And if you don't, then I would love to show it to you. You can book a demo where I will show you around the magic that I have created in Dance Business Solutions, and you can see just what it will do for your business. So from websites, to selling events, to managing your customers, managing your inquiries, creating surveys, planning your social media, it does a gazillion things. And they're all very exciting because I have pre-built most of it for you already using my wisdom and expertise as a dance business coach. So go to dancebusinesssolutions.com as soon as you've finished listening to my podcast and click on book a demo. And I cannot wait for one of my team to show you around.
Or there's a tap class right behind. Okay, what could I do if I have a hip hop and tap back to back? Oh, your child is in the tap class before it is a hip hop class. Now, she's really showing rhythm, that she understands rhythm and the beat and the groove in her tap class. I really feel like she's going to love that hip hop class. Oh, that's a sign up. That is totally changing how you're speaking about the classes and why those two are paired together and get them to take it instead of there's a tap class right after the hip hop period. That's not going anywhere. So parents, first you have to train your staff on how to have these conversations. And I'm sure you can hear how I'm saying it, how it's selling you, how you would definitely add on a class if I'm talking that way. And parents often don't know what classes go together. So they're not going to take the contemporary class. They're a ballet student, but they don't know that ballet is so intertwined into contemporary that that's like the next progression to add on. It's our job to tell them that. It's our job to guide them in their dance journey. So many families simply need permission and encouragement to try something new. And once you give them that permission, they're there. They're ready to sign up. How do I add lyrical? Everyone's doing lyrical. I need in lyrical. How do I do that? That FOMO, the fear of missing out. Okay. The next thing that we're going to talk about on getting students and families to enroll in more than one class is multi-class discounts. Okay, wait. Before we get all scared, because I know that others preach that remove all discounts. You shouldn't have any discounts. Discounts is giving away money. Okay, wait. If you plan your discounting, if you crunch your numbers, you know where your prices should be set. Having smart multiple class discounts works. So people often ask if it works and if it's worth it. Absolutely. You are not giving away money. You're increasing retention and you're increasing enrollment. So a family paying for one class is comparing dance against every activity. So they come once a week for dance. Oh, okay. So next time when it's time to enroll, oh, dance, soccer, dance, theater, they're basically comparing it. A family enrolled in 4 classes is invested. This is their home. Yes, sign me up. The value of keeping a family for multiple years outweighs a small discount. So what do we need to do to get our families taking more classes? Because here's the thing. You have worked to get those families in the door already. Now, I'm not saying that we need to focus our time solely on multiple classes. We need to focus on enrollment too and getting new people in the door. However, you already have your ideal students, your ideal families in your studio right now. So why not focus a little bit more on that and take those from doing on average 1.2 classes a week to 2.5 classes a week? So you might have 200 students and they take 1.2 classes a week. So you have 200 students. What if those students took 2.5? So basically, that's the equivalent of 400 students. And you didn't have to go out and pound the pavement and get more bodies in the studio. They are through your door already. Are you utilizing them? Are you bringing them the opportunities? So the discount doesn't have to be huge. It just has to make the parents feel like they're getting rewarded for commitment. So say they take one class, if you add on the next class, it's $10 cheaper for that class. If you add on 2, you can bundle them. Maybe you have 6 classes is this price. The next tier is 9 classes is this class price. The next tier is 12. And they can kind of move through those. So rewarding them for taking more, not crazily that it hurts you. You still need to cover your costs and you still need to be making money. So you need to sit down and crunch your numbers. And it's going to be different for everyone for where they are. So that's why I'm not telling you prices, because it's different. You have to crunch your own numbers. So sometimes the psychological effect matters more than the actual savings of it. It just makes parents feel like they're getting rewarded, and that's what we need to do. Okay. So some promotions that you can do to get people to take multiple classes. Probably the best one that we've ever do, and we do it every week. And it's silly. The name is silly. We call it our all you can eat week. And we say that, all you can eat week. It's our buffet week. Let's go fill up on dance. So and it's not bring a friend to dance week. We have those. Those are different because those are trying to bring in new enrollment. My all you can eat week is trying to get multi classes taken by everyone. So for 1 week, and so we do this the 3rd week of dance. So our season starts in September. The first week they're coming in, it's crazy. Second week, we're kind of getting settled. 3rd week is all you can eat week. So what that means is the people that are already registered can now try whatever classes they want. Maybe they're only registered in hip hop and acro, and I'm going to encourage them to do whatever classes they want in their age range. They have to follow that purple classes. They can take any of the purple ones. And they maybe are going to try ballet and jazz and musical theater. And then at the end of the week, we send an email and be like, what was your child's favorite class? Had you asked them? Do you want to add that class on? Did you know that when you add on this second or third class, it's only this much more? It's not that we have a multiple class discount. So at the end of the week, I send out an email explaining it, and the ease, all you need to do is reply to this email that you want them in that class, and we'll put them in, we'll do the work. How that's that easy aspect for the family, that it's easy. They came, they got to dance all week. They loved every class, but their favorite was musical theater. So yeah, you know what? Well, can we add it on? Is it too late? Not too late. Your child should be in that class. She's going to do so great. Let me take care of it for you. Oh, how easy is that? The results of this all you can eat week is incredible. I mean, really, even if you get two dancers adding on a couple classes, it's still worth it. It didn't cost you anything. Those classes were already happening. Those kids were already there. You don't have to spend any money on advertising because you're just sending an email saying this is happening. So that is a really great promotion to increase revenue without any expenses to get it there. So, and what's great is that the students discover classes they never would have considered. Maybe they're like, they didn't even know what musical theater was. And then now it's like their favorite thing ever. So the parents see value. Teachers meet students from other programs. That's awesome too. So then they're starting to get to meet some of your teachers. And I have great staff. Like that's a big thing for me. And so I know once I can get them into their classrooms, they're going to sell it for me because they love the teachers and they love all the different ones. Every year, students can add classes because they fell in love with something new. Brings that barrier about adding classes and uncertainty, it removes it. Once they experience it, that barrier is gone. So the classes and the will sell themselves. Right? So, and another thing with this all you can eat, you need to communicate to your staff that this is happening. So your class plans are going to be a little bit different. They're going to be the best lesson plans that you have. You're going to make sure that you include these kids in that. Maybe we send them home with coloring sheets if they're younger about acro. Maybe they get sent home with acro homework or something that they can take home as well is a great idea for your all you can eat weeks. Okay. Community is the real secret. So, and that is huge. That's one of our core values is community. So students don't stay because of dance in your studio. They stay because of the relationships. It's true. That I didn't invent that. It's been said before others before me, but they do not stay because of dance. They stay because of the community. So the strongest studios create community. Students have friends in different classes. Teachers know their names. Families know each other. The studio starts to become a second home. When the studio only attends one class, they have limited opportunity to build those relationships. When the students take multiple classes, they start seeing the same people throughout the week. Friendships deepen, connections strengthen, and it becomes their place, their home. It's as easy as that. And from that, your retention grows and your enrollment grows. What a beautiful thing, all because you created this studio of love. You can also create reasons for them to stay longer. So this is that more the retention side of it. So think beyond the classes, hosts like movie nights, workshops, pop-up classes, holiday events, parades, community performance, summer camps. The more touch points students have, the more connected they become to the studio. You want to build that pride. Community isn't built in a 45-minute class. It's built in everything that surrounds that class. So what also is so important is that we need to train staff to recommend additional classes. So many studios leave enrollment opportunities on the table because the teachers don't feel comfortable recommending the classes. So when it's our all you can eat week, my staff know that after they're done teaching that class, they're coming out into the waiting room with the students and they'll be like, "Hey, now I have a jazz class, the same age group, and it's all you can eat week. So if anyone wants to try jazz from our lyrical class we just had, they really go well together. And I would love for some new people to come try the class, and it's free this week. So who's coming? Who's coming back in?" They're saying that in front of the child, in front of the parent, and then that parent has to say no to that child, which nowadays parents don't say no very often to their kids. So if you tell them about something in front of the child and the child's like, "Please, mom, please, may I go back into, can I go into, what did I say? The jazz class was next. Please, can I go into that jazz class?" How does the mom say no to that? And then they try it and they love it. And then they're like, "Please, can I add that jazz class?" You have them. It's recommending a class. It isn't selling it. It's helping. And the teachers don't want to sell. That's not who they are. They don't want to have to be like, "Did you know that taking this jazz class is only $40.99 more a month? You should sign up for that jazz class." That's not natural. Having them say, "Hey, do you want to come try a class? I think your child should come into that," recommending, that's a different vocabulary for the teachers and easy for them to do. If a student loves tumbling, recommend acro. If they love performing, recommend musical theater. If they have rhythm in their tab class, recommend the hip hop class. If they're naturally flexible from their acro class, suggest the aerial class. The teachers see the strengths of the students every day, and so they really know what other classes they can add easily. And to hear the recommendation come from their teacher, the parents are going to be like, "Well, Miss Heather knows my child. And if she thinks that she should take contemporary, then maybe we should." So they should be helping families find the best fit. And so having this conversation at your next staff meeting and not being like, "I need you to sell more classes. We need to get kids into multiple classes." That's not going to work. You'll say, "Hey, this week, why don't you, if there's some students that are really strong at something and you can see them adding on another class, go ahead and talk to the parents. I give you permission to do that." So now that we've kind of like talked about everything that you need to do to kind of get people into more classes, let's change your mindset. Let's change your mindset on how you measure success. So instead of saying, "I have 400 students," or "How many students do you have?" "I have 400 students." Why don't we say, how many classes does the average student take at your studio? How many classes does the average student take? Three. Three times 400. Oh, 700 class. Wow, wow. So a studio with 300 students averaging three classes is very different than a studio with 300 students averaging one class a week. You could do the math. That's huge. One has deeper engagement, one has stronger community, one has stronger retention. The metrics tell a bigger story. It's crazy. Mind blown, right? Over over adding another class. It's easy. Once you change that mindset, once you kind of figure out how to work with the students and the families that you already have, they have already committed to your studio. They already know you're great. They've come in the door. Now you're working with those people. You do not have to put out the Facebook ads and get more people in and get this, get this. Yes, you still have to do enrollment. We still have to do that. But if you focus on the ones that you have, the ones that, my studio colors are purple, the ones that bleed purple, their word of mouth is going to be the best form of advertising for you. You found your ideal client, dig into them. Final thoughts. If you want more students taking multiple classes, focus less on selling and more on creating opportunities. Build a schedule that makes sense. Okay, that's step one, is change your mindset on how you're building your schedule. Put same age classes together. Schedule siblings at the same time. Offer multi-class discounts. Run all you can eat week. Train your teachers to guide families, right? All of these things that we just talked about. Now, most important, create a studio community. Create a place where they just feel loved and they want to go to. That's truly what it's about. I hope that there are little nuggets in here that you can use and help make your studio better. And if you love this, share it with another studio owner and be like, hey, you need to listen to this crazy lady, this crazy Alberta lady that has 2 dance studios. And, we have 450 students. We had more. We're still doing our rebuild from COVID. We're getting there, but our students are taking multiple classes. And you know what? It's so great. So once you can build that community, those families, that's the success. So thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the call, and we will see you soon.